Hello, I'm Liam Turner, CIH's digital editor. As part of the 2025 CIH vice presidential election, I've been speaking with the five hopefuls to find out a bit more about their background and their ambitions for the presidency. In this video, I speak with Paul Smith, a sector veteran who has worked in housing, health, and care for more than 30 years. He currently serves as the managing director of Foundations, which works to support local authorities and home improvement agencies across England to deliver better home adaptations. As you'll see from my chat with Paul, he is passionate about ensuring the sector provides homes that are decent and appropriate for everyone. Okay, so jumping into the questions then, and the first one I have for you is, what does housing mean to you?
Well, to me, is more about people. It's the roof and the structure, but more than that, it's the feeling of being safe, confidence of knowing you can stay, dignity of having a home that supports your daily life, not one that makes it harder. Housing is what lets people live well and what holds everything else together when life gets tough. It's where health starts, it's where care is delivered, it's where childhoods unfold and old age is lived with dignity. Over the years, I've seen that the biggest difference in housing doesn't come from policy or procedure or even funding. It comes from people doing the right thing, being thoughtful, acting with care, and just taking time to get things right, I think. Those people, the quiet heroes across housing teams, are the ones who inspire me. They're the ones who deserve more recognition and more support to do their best work. But kind of recognising that housing must also adapt. It isn't static. Demographic shift, climate changes, care needs rise. Good housing moves with those changes and anchors everything else. Yes, the sector has taken criticism, some of it fair, but I've also seen determination, common sense, and a quiet pride in getting things done. People sticking with residents through long processes, finding workarounds, making things better, even when systems don't make it easy. I think we should feel comfortable reflecting, asking what's working and what isn't, not to assign blame, but to learn and grow. And that's how we build a sector to be proud of, not just for the buildings, but for the people who make them work. Housing, I think, is the platform for so much else. And when it works well, everything else has a better chance too.
Yeah, and obviously, I'm talking to you as part of your campaign to become the next vice president of CIH, which leads me to the question: what does CIH mean to you?
Well, I joined CIH about 10 years ago. I'd spent about 5 years commissioning extra care housing at that point, and it felt like the right time to develop a stronger professional identity, and CIH felt like the right place to do that. And what has kept me involved ever since is that kind of sense of community, shared purpose, the recognition that we can all learn from each other, and whether you're running a housing association or working on adaptations in a local authority, CIH gives us somewhere to belong, a place to grow, connect, and be challenged. It creates a shared language for what good looks like and shared commitment to making it happen. Um, Challenge, in particular, has always stood out for me. Our sector can sometimes shy away from it, but I believe we should be more comfortable with challenging ourselves, asking the hard questions, looking for the blind spots, not to criticise, but to improve. And that's how we make services stronger and our impact bigger. And CH creates the right conditions for that kind of reflection. It encourages curiosity, honesty, and helps us support each other to be better. I think it's more than a membership body, it's a professional home, one where people want to improve and support others to do the same. That community is what I'd be proud to represent, not just by speaking to events or writing guidance, but by listening, amplifying great work, and encouraging others to lead in their own way as well.
Yeah, and that leads me nicely on to my next question, which is why do you want to be the next CIH vice president and ultimately president?
Me, it's all about the campaign and the message. Homes that work is something I've been building towards my whole career, really. And it's a simple idea that housing should make life easier for the people who live in it. That we should start by understanding people's needs and not expecting them to fit around the system. I love the job I've got now, being Director of Foundations, which is the national body for home improvement agencies and disabled facilities grants in England. Gives me the chance to support local authorities and housing associations across the country already. I've written national guidance, influenced policy, and spoken at conferences across the world. It's a role I deeply care about and one I'd never want to leave. But standing for vice president is a chance to take that message even further, to reach new people, to highlight what works, to help shape the conversation about housing. So it reflects the reality that half of all social tenancies include somebody with a disability or a long-term health condition. I spent the last 35 years learning from every part of the system, from working in private sector housing to commissioning extra care, running home improvement agencies and leading national programmes. And for me, what ties it all together is a belief that we can do better when we listen to each other,
Mhm.
share what works, and stay focused on the human side of housing. If I can use this role to help people feel seen, heard, and supported in delivering homes that work, then it'd be worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and you've touched on it already, but what key issue would you want to tackle or raise awareness of if you were CIH president?
So the heart of my campaign, I said, is how do we make sure homes truly work for the people who live in them?
Hmm.
And I think that means recognising that the reality that is that half of all social housing tenancies have somebody with a disability or long-term health condition. And that's not a small group, it's a core part
Mm.
of who social housing is for. I think the problem is that too often homes are still being built, managed, and maintained as though everyone is fit and able. We see bathroom layouts that don't work, heating systems that are hard to use, policies that assume people can jump through hoops, even when clearly they can't. Homes that should offer safety and stability end up doing the opposite, and people wait months or years for the simplest changes sometimes. I
Hmm.
think professionals feel frustrated by the limits of that system, and somewhere in the middle, real people are left feeling stuck. And this matters more than ever. So, with the government investing record sums into building new social housing, I think now we have a once in a generation opportunity. But it's not just about the numbers, it's about the quality of those houses. I think we need to build the right homes, ones that will work for the next 100 years. And homes that work is about changing that. It's about making sure that inclusive, accessible, practical housing becomes the standard, not the exception. And as president, I've used the platform to bring these issues into the spotlight, share what works, create space for honest discussion, support the people already making things better. Because when homes are designed with people in mind, I think the whole system works better.
Hmm. Hmm. And final question then, what has been the proudest moment of your housing career so far?
Um, I had a long think about this one. And I think kind of the proudest one was it's kind of a story that I think started during the first lockdown. So I was sat at home like most of us. And I started writing. So I'd spent kind of 30 years at that point working in housing adaptations. And the official guidance hadn't been updated in several years. And I knew how much the sector needed something clearer, more practical, and more human. So I wrote it, drawn on 3 decades of that hands-on experience commissioning private sector housing, running home improvement agencies, and listening to residents. And then a couple of years later, when the guidance was published, first major refresh in years, the response was incredibly positive. Local authorities said it helped them deliver better services. Practitioners told us it gave more confidence in their decisions. But kind of the really proud bit came a few months later. I watched a mom speaking movingly about the challenges she faced when trying to get adaptations to her son. It was part of I think it was part of a Zoom webinar. And she talked about how confusing it had been for her and how difficult she found it to find all
Mm.
the information that she needed. But then, kind of the end of it, she said that the good news for others was that they no longer needed to go searching because the new guidance had everything they needed to know. So that was, yeah, that was a real kind of tear in the eye moment, and it brought
Mm.
home that the work we do just doesn't just sit on a shelf.
Yeah.
It helps real people at the most stressful times of their lives, and I couldn't have been prouder at that point.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. So as I say, that's the end of my list of questions for you. Before we bring our chat to an end, did you have any final thoughts you wanted to share with people watching?
Yeah, I think I'd probably bring a different point of view that's not always heard very often, different from previous presidents, I think, and I suspect probably different from the other candidates.
Mhm.
It's not fair that can be better a more important message. I just think that we're at the moment where housing needs to work better for more people. Someone has to say that clearly and consistently. And if someone else would, or someone else was saying that, I'd well understood. But they're not. So I did. And if what I've said here reflects your experience, if you believe housing should start with people and support the professionals and make that happen, then please vote for me. It only takes a minute, but it means a lot, and it will put homes at work at the heart of the national conversation about housing.
Perfect. Right. Thanks, Paul.